So the next question, this is going to tie into Bill Herman's video from today. So if you're watching this later, Bill Herman did a video talking a little bit about understanding and reading the room. And that's what somebody was asking. How do you do that? They've heard that phrase. What are some of the things you look at, or how do you do it, or how would you teach it if it comes to reading the room? And maybe even what does that mean to you? Dan, I think you get to start this one.
So this is people watching 101. It really is. So reading the room is immediately as something is playing, you're looking for any types of signs that things are favorable or not favorable, I guess, would be, where you're not hoping that direction, but that's going to give you an indication of where they might go later, right? So you pick a song that might be on the fringe of a Motown song, and you're using it during cocktails or something like that. You weave it in, and as that's playing, you're watching the guest reaction. Do you have people that are, kind of like start bobbing their head a little bit? Okay. Or, some toe tapping. They're not dancing yet. This is not a dancing time yet. But you're looking for those moments and those signs that things are going well. And then check that box in your head that I can use something along that lines later on. And typically that person who responded well to this, they're probably going to be in my pocket later on when I go to use it for something else. The other idea is, and that's typically what I'm talking about with reading the room during like cocktails or dinner. When you go into the dancing portion, again, start looking for your guests. Do you see energy levels start to wane? Do you see something on the dance floor? Like everybody's going all out, but man, all of a sudden they're in this song and it's like they were going hard, but now they're kind of like starting to die. It's time to change the song. It's time to get out of that song. Maybe change the styles. Maybe rotate your dance floor. Right? That's kind of a weird concept for some of us wedding DJs, right? Because club guys are like, yeah, we got to rotate the floor. We got to get them up to buying more drinks. But sometimes wedding DJs, we need to do the same. Give them a chance to get that breather, to get that energy back and pull that other group up to the dance floor and kind of ebb and flow it with that way.
I think he kind of covered it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
And I will say that's what I've done. Like that. When it comes to reading the room, that is like there are some DJ skills that I'm like, When it comes to reading the room, that's something I've taken pride in focusing on and learning from the get-go, because that's how I learned before I could ever really learn to mix well. You relied on my people watching skills to get me through.
For sure. Cubby, so when you've been training DJs, and specifically your daughter has got into it, how did you convey that need to be able to do that to her? Because I'm in the same boat with Michael here.
Yeah, it's like an instinct. It's like, you can go hard fast, like like Dan talked about, and you peter them out, so they got to go slow down and take a drink because you went, or maybe you played one genre, one song too long, and you just watch them, and in over 18 years and over thousands of weddings or events, you just kind of watch and. You're like, oh yeah, I went a little hard on that one because they were going hard themselves. You're like, you keep the BPMs high. DJ Scribble said a great thing. It's an event is peaks and valleys. You bring them up and then you bring them down and you bring them right back up again. And that's where you have them right in your hand. And it might be playing that slow song so you can swap genres so you can go catch your breath. And you've lost the guys, but you've got all the girls out there for a long time. So you play slow song and they go grab their guys and you come out with another 3-4 bangers. Mike Walter also had another during one of his programming
Seminars.
There you go. So where I'm looking for. He uses a formula. I think it's 3-5-3, and it's great. I need to go back and rewatch it. But you play three songs of a certain BPM genres, and then move on. Not worrying out a certain genre, but you always revisit it, and bring it back, put it in your pocket, and bring it back. But Dan nailed it on the head. It takes a while. You learn it, and you're going to make mistakes sometimes. You're going to go hard. You're playing that one genre song too long, and then you say, "Yeah, I did it."
Yeah,
and you just come back, and and then you learn it with experience. You're not going to come out the gate with it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's probably the biggest thing when I'm talking to Michael about it, is the experience that he did, and how I was fortunate that a lot of that cutting of the teeth when it came to being able to watch the crowd was done in a bar situation where I was playing 4 or 5 nights a week. So if I screwed it up one night, I could come back the next night and try it again. Different crowd probably, some of the same people maybe, but you could try it again and see what worked. And you just repetition and playing and knowing, okay, maybe now I don't go as far into the song. I get out of it here.
that, back in the early days, you played the entire song. You didn't short mix out. You
Yeah.
didn't go chorus or second chorus out. So yeah, it's a whole new game today. With people's attention spans being as short as they are, wanting TikTok, and they wanted just to beg just that one part that was very famous on TikTok, and then you're mixing out of it or something.
Yeah, the world we're in today. All right, let's jump to our next question.